Alright, since y'all liked the last video, I decided that we're going to be taking another look at WTT Champions Frankfurt 2023, and this time we're going to give women's singles some love and take a look at an actual upset. Round 16, Chen Meng versus Bernadette Szocs. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Szocs? Chalks? Yeah, I'm just gonna say Bernie. Chen Meng, world ranked number 2 at the time. Bernie is 13. I know round 16 feels really early for an upset like this, but it happened. Game 1, no two ways about it. Bernadette gets washed. No soap, no water, 11-4. If you were an average viewer at this point, you probably just chalk it up to another Chinese blowout. Nothing out of the ordinary. But since I know all of you are astute, athletic freaks of nature, you saw a more consistent placement game from Chen Meng that capitalized on Bernie's over-aggressiveness and maybe even a bit of uncomfortability or warming up from a Romanian player. What do I mean? Well, overall, Bernie seems to want to attack from her backhand, but a lot of the shots that she gets solid contact on, backhand or forehand, goes long over the table. The 4th point highlights this. Bernie to serve, she stands over the right side of the table with a tomahawk to Chen Meng's forehand mid-table, probably expecting to push, since Chen Meng, like Ma Long, doesn't really jump on those sorts of serves with a backhand flick. Instead, they prefer a controlled push. Bernie's ready with the backhand, because after the serve, she's still in the same position with her racket open to the backhand side, but looks like she doesn't expect it to go so long and that there would be more spin on it. You see how she takes it at the high point of the bounce, but then still swings a really high arcing backhand? With that sort of stroke, you'd expect to lift the ball as it's falling to generate a ton of spin, and so Bernie fails to adapt on the spot, which she still could have even that late into the swing, but not hitting so hard, and yanks the ball off the table. Uncomfortable, a bit shaky, and a bit too aggressive. Chen Meng, easy win, game 1. But game 2, it turns around, is what I would like to say, but the first few points go largely the same way. And now the score is 4-8. This is round 16, so the games are still a best of 5, which means if Bernie loses this one, she'll have to win 3 games in a row in order to take the match. Being down 4-8 is also the point where it feels like it's your last real chance at a comeback for me. Like, sure, miracles happen, but at 5-9, it already feels like there's no margin for error, so there's way more pressure. And 6-10, like, I'm just trying to finish the game so I can go cry in a corner. 4-8, though, if you win every point in your serves, even if you go even with your opponent on theirs, you'll still tie the game at 10-10, and you have a real shot at winning. Bernie to serve. Tomahawk from mid-table, side under short to Chen Meng's forehand, and wait a minute, did she just do the same thing that she did last game? Point 4 where she lost the point? Why would she do that? Well, since Chen Meng won that point, and this game so far is feeling like a repeat of game 1 with the same mistakes and errors, she's unlikely to return differently. Why fix what's not broke? But remember why Bernie missed that shot? She was out of position, felt pressured, and swung too hard from her backhand. So when she serves this time, she's either A, mentally prepared to adjust for the spin and positioning and try the same shot again, or B, she's going to try something else entirely. And she chooses option B for, oh baby, we have a match, as the first step she takes after setting her feet is to slide over to the backhand side the moment she confirms that Chen Meng is going to give her the same push via the racket angle, mind you, because she moves literally right as the ball is being hit. Of course, this doesn't mean that the placement will be as deep into the backhand side as it was last time, but even shifting over slightly can make that backhand shot a lot easier. But no, she wants to take it forehand as she immediately jumps into step around forehand stroke. Based on her follow through and where she contacted the ball, I'm guessing she wanted something closer to Chen Meng's crossover point, but Chen Meng, ever the veteran and champ, is already in position to cut off that angle with a comfortable backhand block, which is made even more impressive by the fact that on her service return, her footwork looked a little bit off balance and a little last second to me, so the fact that she recovers so quickly and set her feet again for the block is super impressive. And what do you know, being ready with a block can sometimes give you as much, if not even more control on the point than if you were the person initiating an attack. Look how Chen Meng is able to place the ball right into Bernie's crossover point, and she's recovering from the big loop on the underspin shot. Based on how she's been playing before, I almost expect her to try to take this backhand because of how she favors it, because of the momentum of her movement, and for her to rush it a bit since she's clearly in the attack mindset. But no, she opts instead to play a forehand block with the lean, which is smart because it gives her a bit more time to react. Is there a better shot here? Maybe, but you'd have to expect the ball to be going there. Bernie clearly moved back into that spot thinking that there was a risk of Chen Meng going down the line with her block, so she didn't want to give up that side of the table. Sometimes you have to gamble, and if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER if you're in the States. But Bernie's trying to get her footing here in this game, and when you're still a bit unstable, sometimes you have to make the safer decision in table tennis. Regardless, it's a bit of a short block with little power. Chen Meng, though, is actually a bit out of position to play the ball as powerfully as she could have. Again, it's largely a reactionary moment of the rally, because when your opponent's fighting to get the ball on the table, it can sometimes end up in weird places. You see how far in front of her Chen Meng contacts the ball? In order to get more power, she wanted to take it a bit closer to the body, elbow a bit more in front in order to snap through the ball with a bit more force. But no problem. She's still still able to control where she blocks it this time too and attacks Bernie's crossover again, this time a bit to her forehand side. Bernie's actually getting ready to return it backhand, maybe expecting Chen Meng to go back into the backhand rally since she's been consistently edging her out in those, but in what I can only describe as an incredible act of bodily control, Bernie redirects, pulls back slightly for a forehand, feet out of alignment, close to zero hip rotation and power generation from her right leg, just enough to control the shot but also enough to snap her elbow to yeet that ball out to the far backhand side of Chen Meng, follows through downwards to make sure she doesn't pull the ball too far up and off the table. Chen Meng, too close to the center, unable to make the block to keep the point going. She's simply too far out of position, reacts too late. When your arm is that far out from you, it's hard to control the angle of the wrist or to really brush up on the ball, even though she tried, and gets nothing but net. Now, this point might seem innocent enough, but combined with a lucky net ball on her next third ball attack, Bernie suddenly got all the momentum, more confidence, while rattling Chen Meng a little. She takes this game without letting Chen Meng score another point. Bruh, that's 7 points in a row for people who are counting. This video is already getting a bit long, so those are the only points I'll highlight, even though I know there are many other moments in this match in a down-to-the-wire game 5 before Bernadette takes it. But honestly, I think if she hadn't pulled herself together in this game and won, Chen Meng might have had enough time to recover, even if Bernie started taking later games. Like, all the games Bernie won, aside from this one, went to deuce, but the ones Chen Meng won looked incredibly one-sided. Whatever she and Ma Lin figured out between games 3 and 4 was clearly effective, and if she had more buffer, maybe she could have squeaked out even some of the tighter matches. So yeah, point 12, game 2 was important, and all it took was some smart anticipation, slight change in tactic, and a bit of patience and luck before Bernadette Szocs found her rhythm and started to cook. Congrats on a big dub, Bernie.
Maybe a couple of sighters for people to follow. Awful lot of free points.
5-8.
Of Romania.
Hey, before you go, I just want to say thanks for blowing up my last video. I honestly did not expect it to do anywhere near as well, especially for starting new here on YouTube. But since I'm one person, and I don't have all the time in the world to watch every single table tennis thing ever, let me know down in the comments below if there are matches, points, or moments that I should check out and that I should review and break down here on this channel. Thanks y'all, and I'll see you next time.